uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
in the building. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. Good morning on this weekend. Big Blunts on deck. Salute to the GOAT Facts OG. He better not go past 6. Salute to you. Nova on deck. Man, this dude had the most perfect timing for real. Salute to Nova in the building. Our Blunts like one up with me. I be who I be. What's good, player? How you feeling? In the building, I see you. Big shout out to everyone. It's fight night, of course, and the magnitude of it is huge, man. It's huge for many reasons. Big salute to the supporters of WCS, man. The ones who keep tuning in. It's big. I'm only paying attention to one fight. The reason why I have so much vested interest is because Jaron Ennis is supposed to be the next best at welterweight. With that said, we already know the chit chatter that's been, taking place over the YTC, especially last year around the time Crawford was stepping in there with Avanesyan. You know what I'm saying? We have to address some things. We do, and there's no knock on Team Ennis. It's no knock, man. They black like me. I want to see them succeed. I never said Ennis wasn't gonna be anything. I never cut him short. Anything. I just question his resume and how good he's been when he's supposed to go in there and step on these opponents. And in light of him being on $1 million worth of game, I need to make this perfectly clear whether he listens or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether you hear me or not, bro. You know, I just want you to just hear me out. You don't have to listen. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to listen, but I just want to hear you to hear me out. Your last fight with Chukhadzhian, no one knew who the hell he was. Just like y'all say y'all didn't know who David Avanesyan was. Shout out to Andrew Charles on deck. What's good with Andrew? Sticking boys, fishing, and sports. Salute. What they do, my brother? Big shout out to everyone that's on deck. So, I remember, and shout out to YSM Sports, I will be using one of his media clips. And he's doing an outstanding job over there, superb job over there in Philly. I told YSM Sports a lot of people want to be in your position because you have a turnstile of boxing that rotates in and out at your disposal, and it just provides him with, constant content to put out here on the conveyor belt at the YTC. But with that said, that doesn't mean I agree with those individuals when it comes to what they have to say about certain fighters. So one of their primary fighters, their fighters over there, of course, is the Ennis, Team Ennis. And I put it on record before that, you may have 30 wins right now, but just like, I heard Spence say on the stage that, Top Rank has the best matchmakers. I call in the question about matchmaking for Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis really hasn't fought anybody. Then you have people in the chat like Blunts talking about Boots is fighting another 140-pound guy. Now, Now, see, people are somewhat starting to pay attention to the details that goes on in this game. You know what I'm saying? If you all you do is just read, you'll find out what you're looking for. So Jaron Ennis is considered to be somewhat of a same stature as they used to call Errol Spence. They used to say, "Oh man, he big," and he is big for 147 pounds. He is, and I've seen people highlight, you know, his attributes as a fighter, and the same attributes Crawford has, who been in the sport longer than Boots. They tend to criticize, right? But this played out last year, 2022, when they was trying to insert themselves. Now listen, Team Menace. I don't have no problem with y'all asserting yourselves because it's boxing at the end of the day, and it's the jungle out here. You know, you got to get in where you fit in. But there's been several moments, several occasions where it just seems like you was chasing the clout that Crawford has already built for himself. And you don't need to do that. You already have individuals that's willing to support you because the old guard is on their way out and you're on your way in. But you don't have to get in by pretending that you want to fight certain people knowing that fight is nowhere on the calendar for you, but you just want to say, okay, let me clout chase this person, because there's no way that y'all can say Crawford doesn't have any clout. He absolutely has clout. But when you clout chase an individual and say, well, instead of him fighting Avanesyan, he could have fought me. And then the whole deal where all these people were supposed to be on the phone to try to make a fight with you and Crawford. And it's just take your time, man. You're a youngin. You're a youngin in the game, man. You got so much time ahead of you. You're already the IBF interim champion. You got so much time. But something that bothers me a little bit is tonight. Tonight bothers me a bit for you. Because I remember listening to the interviews coming out that gym. I remember your pops. And shout out to Bozy, man. Much respect to you. I remember Bozy saying, who, the Avanesyan, who? Like he was acting like Avanesyan. He didn't know who he was. He didn't care. He was making light and having fun with it. I get it. So was everybody else. A lot of other people over there was, just stumping on Avanesyan's name. Okay. I understand. The gym is going to stick together. The team is going to stick together. I get it. Y'all going to trash talk together. The banter is going to be of like-minded individuals who are all camping out in the same gym, and y'all going to have somewhat the same mentality. Not everybody over there think alike, but I'm just saying, y'all took it upon yourself to say Avanesyan won nobody. Okay. I'm not here to defend Avanesyan. I just know at the time he was high in the rankings too. When Rashidi Ellis fought Ramon Villa, Rashidi Ellis was below David Avanesyan when he fought Terrence Crawford. So when Ramon Villa went in there and fought Rashidi Ellis and gave a great account of himself, he built up and put more rungs in the ladder to face you. He called you out. So all the time that you and everybody that was talking that talk over there in Philly about David Avanesyan and really not giving credit to Crawford for fighting a guy that was in the ranking system. Now you have a guy that just faced a guy that was in the bottom half of the top 15. He beat him. Now he goes for you. And this way it becomes extremely important that you pay attention to what I'm saying, because you have an extreme amount of hype behind you, Boots. You have a lot of hype. You have a substantial amount of helium beneath you. People blowing you up to be the next best. Now that Virgil Ortiz is going to be at 154, Boots, it's only you right now. Okay? I'm talking about the new guard. It's you, brother. It's you. So I remember them saying that Avanesyan won nobody. So Crawford did what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to go in there and smash on Avanesyan and get him up out of there. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to bring you to the I want to bring you to the carpet. I gotta ask you this. I want to bring you to the carpet there, Boots. To the carpet. In the military mean, you know what I'm saying? We having a serious formal like conversation about something. This is not considered a sidebar. You know, this is not considered something that's recreational. We're talking about something serious, right? We have 30 victories. You're stepping in there in a matter of hours to face a guy who no one truly knows. No one knows who Villa is. They just know him off Rashidi Ellis and the type of performance that he gave when he fought Rashidi and how he was able to pressure Rashidi and took everything he had to offer, earning knockdowns in that fight, right? He pretty much broke him down. He fought the same way that y'all celebrate Errol Spitz on hoping that he can go in there and do the Crawford. All right. I'm just putting some little bits and pieces out here for you, Ennis. But make no mistake about it. It seems like they gave you a pass for that Korean Chukhadzhian fight. That was your David Avanesyan right there, homie. You were supposed to go in there and get Chukhadzhian out of there. And they just overlooked that shit. And your camp over there, your gym, they didn't even speak on it. Now, that was just disappointing to me. Like, if you're going to speak on Avanesyan so hard, right? But yet, Boots Ennis, your fight was January. Your fight was in January. It wasn't too far off. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too far off. So all the hoopla that was going on, the chit chatter, and basically talking as if David Avanesyan, David, Abercrombie, David Avanesyan, David Ambien, and all these names that was coming up, right? I didn't hear the same energy coming over there for Korean Chukhadzhian when he went the distance with you. That's a big question mark for me. That's a big question mark for me, Jaron Ennis. I got some questions, man. Tonight, you know what I'm saying? After hearing you on $1 million worth of game, bro, you have to understand how imperative it is to know the how big this fight is. This may not be Crawford that you stepping into the ring with, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. You're about to take on Philly on your back, man. You got to put that payload on your back to revive Philly boxing over there. You got to. You have to do it. And this is the fight where you got to show that you're not just hype. You're not just a fighter that looked the part and everything. And then when you go in there and put it all together, it don't add up. With everybody giving you that boost, that injection that you're supposed to be the next best. Now that a name that you was attached with here and there, Virgil Ortiz, he's probably won't be fighting at 147 no more. So you have this entire payload. You have the Philly payload. You have the welterweight payload. You know what I'm saying? You have that youth payload, that youthfulness, that young strength. You have that payload of the next best at welterweight. You have the beautification of people admiring your entire skill set as a fighter. That's what they see about Boots. But you can't allow this fight to go the distance, big dog. Because you said on $1 million worth of game, you've been looking for Crawford since 2018. But Crawford has still been demonstrating and stunting on niggas since he was coming up through the ranks, picking up championships. That's what he's been doing. So if you've been looking for this dude since 2018, right? When he stepped in here and fought Jeff Horn and picked up that WBO title, vacating those 140-pound titles after beating Julius Ndongo. If you've been looking for this guy since 2018, we expect you to go in here tonight and show the people as to why you was looking for Crawford. Why are you trying to portray that you was on the hunt to face Crawford back in 2018? So you had to feel that you was ready. But the only thing about this, Boots, is your last performance against Korean Chukhadzhian leads to question as to why you was even looking for Crawford to begin with, unless you was going to get an autograph, brother. Shout out to Samar Warren on deck. Salute to you. And what's good? Why were you looking for Crawford back in 2018 unless you was getting an autograph? My brother, Jaron, you cannot go in here tonight and let this fight go the distance. Nor can you let this fight go past the 6th round. Because the reason why I say that, I need to let y'all listen to some audio on how people are, how we talk. We talk. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a gym setting, it's talk. People chopping it up. This is nothing serious to me, man. I'm just talking about boxing content. But when you have people in there and they're talking about Crawford so much on what he didn't do and what he should have did and all that, one thing we can say for real is that we knew heading into that fight, Igis Kavalauskas had stopped David Avanesyan in the 6th round, right? Just like we knew ahead of time when Crawford stepped in there with Sean Porter that Errol Spence had dropped him in the 11th round. And you trying to tell me boxing fans don't think of those type of bookmarks? Hell yeah, they do. It's easy. So what did Bud do? Not only did he get a knockdown prior to the 11th, but he closed down the fight. He didn't even let it go the distance. What did he do against Avanesyan that was stopped by Igis Kavalauskas in the 6th round in their fight? He knocked him out in the 6th round, bro. Jaron Ennis, this fighter that you was looking for in 2018, the results are different. Real talk, the results are different, bro. The results are different. Crawford stopped this dude. So now y'all saying, y'all will look up there and you'll say something like, well, you'll talk about who this fighter faced, how the performance was, and who hasn't he fought and who he should have fought. Y'all put all that up there. But y'all was making a big deal about Igis Kavalauskas, a common opponent of Crawford, knocking out David Avanesyan. So Crawford went in there and did what he's supposed to do. Just like Bozy said, he went in there and did what he's supposed to do. He got him up out of there. My question to you, Jaron, are you going to show us what you're supposed to do? Because when you stepped in there with Korean Chukhadzhian, we didn't see what you were supposed to do with that guy. Who in the heck knew who Chukhadzhian was? That's the waiver right there. That's the only waiver you can get, bro. All them boxing heads that's in that gym, y'all, you have some legitimate boxing heads over there. The criticism that y'all was chirping about Crawford stepping in there with Avanesyan, bro, this is your time to show them. Because Chukhadzhian was your Avanesyan. And you went the distance with the guy. Now, you got a guy who supposedly dropped out and didn't want to fight you and Rashidi Ellis. He didn't want to fight you. Okay. So Villa fought him. Now Villa dispersed of him. Now he coming for you. It seemed like Villa is somewhat doing the same thing you say you was doing for Crawford back in 2018. But he didn't wait that long. He said, oh, yeah, I beat Rashidi. Rashidi didn't want to fight you. I beat Rashidi. Now I'm coming for you. The Colombian debt collector. Dude coming up with them big ass shades on, smiling. You gotta be mindful of them dudes is up there smiling like that in such a serious situation. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be mindful of that shit. You really have to respect the calmness of this guy who was smiling and having a good old time like he's super relaxed. Man, Villa is dangerous, man. At least he showed he was dangerous when he fought Rashidi Ellis. Big Bun say Villa ain't knocked out a single welterweight that had less than 5 losses and hadn't been knocked out already on top of fight at 135, 140 pounds for more than half his career. I'm gonna get back to that too. I hope Boots make a statement tonight Roman's not on his level. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, IB. This is one of those Avanesyan. Avanesyan wasn't on Crawford level, right? He had already lost to a common opponent for which people were sitting up there saying Crawford had a problem with. Every debate, they bring up Igis Kavalauskas. Igis Kavalauskas knocked out freaking David Avanesyan, so Crawford erased him no more than 6 rounds. Isn't that what he's supposed to do? Absolutely. That's why I'm asking you, Jaron. You got to make this look like it's supposed to happen. Like you're supposed to go in there and get this dude. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to get this dude up out of there. You said it's crazy Boots got 30 fights and don't have a better resume than Virgil or Stantis. Shit crazy. That's boxing, man. Look, one thing we know, Juice, is that boxing is a popularity contest now. So even though his resume is absent of quality opposition, he does have a popular name in boxing. Like it's a lot of people that's pushing for Boots. And he does have a fan-friendly boxing style. Real talk. I like Boots' boxing style. I do. But as far as how he go in there and execute certain areas when I'm thinking he should be able to turn on and go to a different level and, you know, really be the closer. We're looking for Boots to be the closer, the complete closer to his domination. That's what we're looking for him. He's supposed to be the next best. You know, people are already, you know, on the Boots bandwagon, right? They just trying to see, can he be consistent? Crawford has been in the game longer than Boots. But when Crawford was going to seek out his 3rd championship division, Boots made the point to say he was looking for him. He wanted to fight him since then. I'm like, so if you thought you had the blades that cut into Crawford's career and stop what he had going on with Jeff Horn, we need to see that shit now. We need to see that shit tonight. We need to see it ASAP. Korean Chukhadzhian was your David Avanesyan. All the play of people making fun of Avanesyan name, but yet you go in there and fight a guy whose name is just as crazy. And you was doing pirouettes in there, and you didn't look like you had lost focus. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have the momentum. It seemed like your opponent took some momentum away from you, and you didn't know how to get it back. It's like you couldn't know how to cut off the ring. You know, that guy was just in there being a dance partner with you at that point. So you can't let that happen tonight with Villa. You can't let it happen, bro. You can't let it happen. Loafers need to get on, indeed, update the resume ASAP. If he don't get Sevilla out of there in 6, they need to put Boots back in the shoebox. Okay, Juice, I see you. Hey, they deserve that, right? Sevilla, I like that. hey, you know what I'm saying? They were saying 150,000 names for Avanesyan, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's not get it twisted. Like this is something that's off limits. Hey, excuse me, this is off. No. You know, Sevilla out of there, and they need to put the Boots back in the shoebox. I hear you, man. Boots, you got to go in there tonight, and you got to show them that Villa is just like Blunt's mentioned. He's a lower division, 140 pound, a junior welterweight at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Who moved up, and he himself don't have this incredible knockout, you know, ratio in the lower divisions. But supposedly Boots said he's gonna go for a corner stoppage or something. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to logically put that into a hypothetical as to what he may potentially mean by that. You know what I'm saying? A corner stoppage. Why can't you have the mindset to go in there and break him down and stop him. See, the good thing about this fight is they believe that styles make fights. So being that Rashidi Ellis couldn't repel the attack that Villa was giving him, Team Ennis absolutely is looking at this and saying, okay, if he fights us the same way he did Rashidi Ellis, that's right in our wheelhouse. That is exactly in our wheelhouse. We like that. You know what I'm saying? We like that. Come forward and it'll allow us somewhat. Look, this is somewhat the same dynamic in what they're saying for Errol Spence going in there breaking down Crawford. They believe that Villa is going to go in there and try to break down Jaron Ennis. And then that's going to allow Ennis to have some openings for counter shots, uppercut, hooks. Let's see how it works out. I don't know what type of game plan he's coming in there with. This is not a good win in my eyes. Boots need a real test. No, he needs to go in there and do what he's supposed to do. He needs to go in there and do what he's supposed to. Man, the grease burning cats up. Damn it, it's hot in here. Shout out to Stickum Boys. Appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Bunch defective pair of kicks. Jaron Stiletto Ennis. See, I'm not here to go in on Ennis like that because I respect him. I respect him, his team, his pops. They're a black father and son team. I respect them, but what I'm saying don't have anything to do with disrespect. I'm speaking about the same way that these individuals have took it upon themselves to criticize David Avanesyan and also kind of put Crawford in the blender as why he fought Avanesyan to begin with, as to say that Ennis would have stepped in at any time. I would have fought Crawford. No, you wouldn't have, because you petitioned the IBF. You wouldn't have fought Crawford. Else you would have stayed in the WBO. We're not hearing that, bro. We're not hearing that. So let's get to the audio, people. Let's get to this audio. Let's get to the audio, people. And this is courtesy of YSM Sports, one of the busiest media segues, on the YTC over there.
No, what's up, man? What's up, man? You gonna have to talk. Everybody's reacting to Terrence Crawford, David Avanesyan.
I don't know this guy, but you can hear that he said some bullshit. It's some bullshit. It's some bullshit. Okay. You right off the back saying some bullshit, but Korean Chukhadzhian was some bullshit.
I'm trying to figure out, Terrence Crawford, he turned around and he gonna fight Anesthesia. Anesthesia, he was stopped by Mean Machine. He lost to my man. What's my man's name?
Lamont Peterson.
He lost to Lamont Peterson. So Mean Machine, and Mean Machine ended up he got beat by Ray. He got beat by Terrence Crawford. And now that's who motherfucking Terrence Crawford choose to go fight. It don't make no sense. How you fight a motherfucker that got beat by a motherfucker that you stopped? What kind of sense would that make? And you got, and then he got beat by another motherfucker. That got retired by 140 pounder. That boot stop. It don't make no sense. I'm trying to figure it out.
So they're pretty much speaking on stoppages. So my brother that was speaking, in all respect, right? Because I'm just speaking in a sense of boxing content. In all respect, you speak about who Crawford fight, and you're throwing common opponents in there. You're throwing common opponents in there when Crawford was defending his WBO strap. But what about Boots, who is going in there with a fighter named Korean Chukhadzhian, and you can't compare him to common opponents, but yet Boots didn't get the stoppage. You're talking about fighters being stopped and knocked out and everything like that, but yet when it comes around to what Boots was supposed to do his last fight, he went the distance. Whereas the main event, Gervonta Davis got Hector Luis Garcia up out of there. That's what he was supposed to do. Why? Because the dude was a champion at a lower weight class of 130 pounds, and he came up there to test his grit, and he got stopped. Whereas you supposed to shine in the co-main event, and you saying, "Oh, it's time, man. It's time for me. You know, it's time for me. I want to be the main event. I want to be the main event. I want to be the main event." Okay. Understand with the main event, people want to see you go in there and not stink up the place like you did with Corinne.
You know, living that stop, long retired home.
Lamont Peterson.
Lamont Peterson. You know what I mean? He beat Lamont Peterson. You know what I mean? So Lamont Peterson beat NC. So who is this guy that you fight, bro? You know what I mean? Like you don't want to the bottom of the barrel. You know.
Right past all the good motherfuckers, you go right to.
I mean, like, what is you doing, man? You sat out all this time. You waited all this time. You sat out all this time. You know what I mean? And this is what you get your fans. You pound for pound. You pound for pound. You know what I mean? This.
Okay, so I understand. Everybody believes it's easy just to come and Crawford to he's pound for pound. He's pound for pound. Yeah, he earned it. Jaron Ennis hasn't came nowhere close to doing anything that's pound for pound relevant. Y'all acting like if y'all really close to boxing, you know it has a format that I speak about all the time on how fighters can build up their resumes with gardeners. You can build up your resume with gardeners, man. If you playing around in the garden and everything, cultivating them vegetables and stuff like that, you're gonna pick some tomatoes, man. And not all those tomatoes are gonna be ripe either. You're gonna get some sour ones out the patch. But you was there for a reason to pick tomatoes. And Corinne Chukhadzhian was absolutely a fighter that no one knew, no one was looking for, but yet you say, "Hey man, what you doing? You know what? You supposed to be pound for pound now." But Jaron has been on record now as saying he was searching, he was hunting, he was looking for, he was in need of, he was seeking out Terrence Crawford in 2018. So tonight, this performance is supposed to show why you was hunting him down. This performance tonight is supposed to say, okay, Corinne Chukhadzhian was your waiver because that was your David Avanesyan and you blew it. You blew it.
You give everybody. Come on, man.
Pound,
You go for everybody. Crawford and Spence. Everybody looking at that fight, two top motherfuckers. Y'all up here, and then you go all the way down there and find a motherfucker in the bottom of the motherfucking barrel. Y'all mean anesthesia? Who the fuck is anesthesia? And they gonna put you on pay-per-view free. Who that? Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, man. Like, you know, me Machine beat anesthesia. Yeah. Beat him. What's my man's name?
Lamont Peterson.
Lamont Peterson beat him. You know what I mean? And Crawford done beat, you know what I mean, the beat before. You know what I mean? Now, he go from, you got Spencer Crawford up here. Everybody hypes for
I got a question. He said Crawford beat them all. I'm trying to look through Crawford's resume. Was there a time on there that Crawford beat Lamont Peterson? I'm just curious. Did I hear you wrong? Or did you say Crawford beat them all? You say Avanesyan was beat by Lamont Peterson. You did put that on there, and you say he was beat by Mean Machine, right? So you made a point to say Crawford's reaching all the way down in the barrel when let's have an understanding that the man was EBU champion, right? He's already scheduled for a fight, and he was in the ranking system, and he held an interim title. It's a lot of fine details that you're leaving out. You just speaking about things that make sense for the people that you're around, and you just kicking it in the gym, talking shit. But you gotta understand, he was like Jaron Ennis. He had an interim title too. So you gotta remember the fine details to highlight this man too. And when did Crawford beat Lamont Peterson? I mean, if that was what was said.
That fight, yeah. And then you all the way down there, then he pull out of there, all the way up. And we're trying to get that. You know what I mean? Who is he?
You trying to draw down?
You know what I mean? He done lost to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? That lost.
So they just said Avanesyan turned them down. Okay? Avanesyan turned them down. So they're taking it as a common opponent that Crawford just knocked out. Why do you want to fight Avanesyan? Why did you want to fight him? You have 30 professional wins based off your last fight, that Jaron Ennis. Why would y'all want to fight Avanesyan for? I mean, I don't get how people have these conversations and they're just kicking it, right? And I know it happens all the time in boxing gyms. That's what happens, man. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? You're just kicking it. You're just talking and, joking. But come on, man. You're speaking about common opponents with Crawford as if it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Him facing Avanesyan, who was stopped by Kavaliauskas, it's wrong for him to do that. So if it's wrong, what benefit is it for Boots, who's coming up the chain of command? He's trying to establish himself to the people. Why would y'all want to fight Avanesyan? Before or after Crawford got a hold of him? Because you saying he's been stopped by Igor Kavaliauskas and he's lost to Lamont Peterson, right? Why would you all want to damn select him then? It's not adding up, man. Like, either y'all have just total disdain for Bud Crawford, or y'all just thinking if you say some bullshit and you know it's controversial, people will talk on it. People speak on it like myself. Because I'm not getting it. If you saying that he ain't nothing, he went to the bottom of the barrel and everything, then why are you trying to fight Avanesyan? Why are you trying to fight Anesthesia? It doesn't add up, fellas.
He done lost to me, Machine. Ray beat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Crawford beat. Ray beat. You know what I mean? Everybody beating on this boy. And he beat the boy that you going to fight. Yep. That's bullshit. Yep.
Mr. Boozy, what's your thoughts on basically Terrence Crawford just moving past all the guys that's ranked ahead of David?
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all, man. You know what I mean? Him doing something like that.
Giving nobody a fair shot.
You got all. Get somebody. Boots is right there. Ortiz is number one for us. WBO. Ortiz got Ortiz. I can even see. I don't like Keith Brown, but I can see somebody like that. My thing is, I'm trying to figure out. You know what I mean? You keep saying Spencer Crawford. You know what I mean? When Crawford pound for pound is that up. I mean, but what is he doing to be that? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what is he doing. He like you up here, you make your fans wait. All the people that like you. And then say Crawford this, Crawford that. All y'all sitting there hype. Oh, him and Spence this, him and Spence that. Then you got Boots up there. Yeah. Then you got Ortiz up there. You got Keith Thurman. All these guys up there. They're the ones you should have picked. You go through all these dudes and go under the bottom of the barrel. And it's overseas. You know what I mean? And then you go get them overseas. That don't nobody even over here know. Yeah. Don't none of your fans. If you got any fans, Terrence Crawford, how many of your fans know this?
See, once again, we have a group of individuals who obviously is close to the boxing scene. They're posing all these questions about Crawford. That's what happens when you at the top of the heap. That's what happens when you at the top of the summit and when the sun is shining and people see your silhouette up there and they can see your shadow. That's what happened. It provides them with an entire different optic. They say, "Oh shit, that's so and so up there." Okay, you know what I'm saying? That's the king right there. That's what happens when you at the top of the heap and people see you. They look up and they say, "Wow, I wonder what it took for them to get there." But see, the conversation ain't gonna always be the same. It's gonna be like what you're hearing, because they're questioning how Crawford got to the freaking pound for pound list, but yet they're not questioning why Errol Spence is on the pound for pound list. If you're gonna question why Crawford is there when he was knocking off undefeated fighters and former world champions, right? You need to be asking the same thing about not only Errol Spence, but how are you going to get Boots there if he's fighting the very same fighters that you criticizing Crawford for fighting? If we don't know the names of Anesthesian, who knows the name of Chukhadzhian, Korean Chukhadzhian? Nobody knows the name of Korean Chukhadzhian. Where did he come from? We don't know anything. This and Ennis went the distance with him. We don't even know this guy's name, bro. But y'all not even questioning how Crawford is on the pound for pound list. The man haven't even successfully completed an undisputed quest yet. He put it on his manifesto, but we won't know to July 29th if he's able to carry that out. But Crawford has completed that. He's a 3-weight world champion, but we have boxing enthusiasts, boxing trainers questioning why Crawford is on the pound for pound list as if he should be absent of. And that's not being fair. That's not being fair because, like I said before, they're talking about no names. They're talking about no names, right? But yet, your fighter that's right there next to you, your fighter that's right there, has 30 victories, and the only one that people can relate to is Sergey Lipinets, 140-pound former world champion. Come on, man. They don't want to say nothing about, their own fighter, man, and how his record is one of the most fluffed, inflated, economical. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just the way it is. He's not the only fighter that I've spoken on with an inflated record, but you fought Korean Chudik in your last fight and went the distance.
No, I bet you a lot of people don't know. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out. We know, because we fight. You got to be a fighter. You got to be a fight analysis or somebody that knows fight, know boxing, that know anything, and then know this dude background. You know what I mean? Like I said, he lost to Stan Nolas. I mean, he lost to Mean Machine, somebody that Terrence Crawford stopped, and he lost to Lamar Peterson. You know what I mean? Somebody that Lipinets retired. But you see what they did with him, man? It don't make no sense. But you see what they did with him, though. After he beat the boy, Josh Kelly, that's when they started talking about. They started talking about. Then he beat somebody else. He beat somebody else too. I forgot who else he beat. Josh Kelly done dropped off the face of the earth. Well, he was a prospect. Right? Eddie Hearn ain't even like it. No. You know what I mean? His own people ain't even, you know what I mean? And that's why they took him off the way, because he couldn't get past it. They said he was too arrogant. You know what I mean? What they tell us that they got to fight. Even when Ray beat him, Ray was telling them to fight. Now Ray beat.
So I want to get this straight there, over there, Team Ennis. Early in, you call him Anesthesian. He fought Andrei Klimov. Klimov was 3-0, and Avanesyan lost his second professional fight in a 6-rounder. Second professional fight in a 6-rounder. He did 1 4-rounder, and the next was a 6-rounder, and he lost to Andrei Klimov in a 3-rounder unanimous decision. Okay, up to that point of facing Lamont Peterson, yes, he lost a decision to Lamont Peterson, a decision, and a close fight. And then, of course, Igor Kavalauskas did stop him in the 6th round in 2018. Igor Kavalauskas did stop him in 2018, but that was before Igor Kavalauskas stepped in the ring with Terrence Crawford. That's a fact. So who's to blame? Igor Kavalauskas was doing what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Kavalauskas was 18-0 undefeated. He was fighting who he's supposed to fight. Now, if you really want to get technical about some things, right? Let's also go over here. Okay. Hold on for a second. We're gonna come back to this after I let this audio play out, though, because I want people to be totally clear as to how you can have biased conversations and put fighters out there, and you're unwilling to level out the fairness of it. You're unwilling to speak 50 on this side, 50 on that side. You know what I'm saying? There's no negotiation. You just want to say, well, I'm gonna say what I want to say because I really don't like that guy. I really don't like Crawford, so I'm gonna sit up here and give him the most criticism possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna scrutinize everything about his record. So in that facet, if you want to scrutinize everything about his record, you already know what it is. You already know what it is. We can go all the way back You know what I'm saying? It's just too. Look, we know how this works. Boots has 27 knockouts and he ain't fought nobody. His first opponent was 1-9. His first opponent was 1-9, Corey Mudro. You know what I'm saying? He fought a guy named Tavares Teague, 3-12. I'm moving up. Elvin Perez, 28-16. James Winchester, 20-12. Eduardo Flores, 25-26. Wilfredo Acuna, 16-20. Robert Hill, 6-32. Ricardo Canu, 17-12. Leon Jimenez, 3-8-1. I.A. Bruce, 23-14. George Sosa, 15-10. Gustavo Garibay, 13-9. Samuel Mocha, 23-17. Mike Arnartes, 26-10. And then you get Armando Alvarez, 18-0. Pay attention. Pay attention. How many fights he had before he fought someone like Armando Alvarez, 18-0. Raymond Serrano, 24-5. Franklin Mamani, 23-5. Damian Fernandez, 12-1. Bakhtiar Yubov, 14-1. Dude was like 4'6". Warren Abreu, 23-5. Chris Van Heeren, okay, no contest. And then the one that they talk about, Sergey Lipin, yes, and y'all already know. Thomas Lorme, 25-5, y'all, is coming off 2-fight losing streak, and Custio Clay, 19-0. Right? So you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. His last 11 fights out of 30. We would say his last 11 fights when he fought Armando Alvarez at 18-0, all the way up to his last fight with Koran Chudin, who was 21-1. And that was for the IBF interim. Before that, Custio Clay, 19-0, undefeated, and Armando Alvarez, 18-0. In between time, it was none of these cats was, not doing anything. Let's look at Chris Van Heeren. He had lost to Errol Spence Jr., right? He had lost to Errol Spence Jr. via TKO, right? That's the one that they end up wanting to fight. They petitioned for. Errol stopped him in 8 rounds back in 2015, September 2015. And then he had another loss, split decision, to Nikolo Stevanovic. He lost a split decision. So he was pretty much a fighter that was stopped by Errol Spence. And it should be criticism the same way. And this man was stopped. Chris Van Heeren was stopped by Conor Benn. TKO in round 2. I'm just saying, like, you're talking about fighters who are stopped. If you would have went past 2 rounds, people would have been like, okay, that fighter fought Errol Spence. You had to go in here and match it. That's what Terrence Crawford did with freaking David Avanesyan. He shut it down. That's what he did with Sean Porter. It was a knockout. It was no knockdowns. You know what I'm saying? When it came to him and Errol Spence, there was no knockdowns to round 11. What Crawford did. He not only knocked him down several times, he finished him.
What they tell us at the fight? Even when Ray beat him, Ray was telling at the fights. Now Ray done beat both of them guys. He beat Josh Kelly, and he beat Mean Machine. And he been asked for Terrence Crawford. And Ray was the last person I beat on Terrence Crawford and Allen. Yep. Ray was the last one I gave Terrence Crawford a loss.
I don't know why we're talking about amateurs, but I guess it's always good when you have a fighter there that they believe in. And, they want to speak on, but this is not about Ray. And respect to Ray, man. I don't have nothing against the brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking about what we know right here, right now. Like you have one of the biggest names right now in Ennis fighting tonight. All that talk and chit chatter. This fight can't go past 6 rounds, brother. It can't go past what Crawford did with Avanesyan, since y'all despise him and say pretty much he had to reach all the way down in the barrel. Okay, so therefore you didn't have to reach. Villa came to your doorstep. He came knocking. He came knocking. He came to you. I know you ain't gonna let no Colombian fighter, somebody that y'all don't know, that's a nobody, because y'all didn't have too much respect for Rashidi Ellis. You know, you felt like he wasn't on y'all level, right? So Villa went in there and cleaned up and did that maintenance on freaking Ellis. Now the fighter that beat Ellis come to your store and said, "Oh, I'm here to clean up too." So at least they took the fight, but dude, you have to go in there and clean this guy up. If y'all talking about anesthesia, well, you got to put this guy to sleep then.
You know what I mean? He been asking for Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? 147, 154. He been asking for it. You know what I mean? He beat Mean Machine.
He's about to say 154.
You know what I mean? The fight right before Mean Machine fought Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? He said, "Don't Ray beat him." You know what I mean? Which Mean Machine ain't even supposed to got that fight with Terence Crawford. Ray should have got the fight. Ray should have got the fight. Why you want to fight?
It was a WBO final eliminator,
Yeah.
and it was a draw, so no opponent should have become the mandatory, and Crawford ended up fighting Mean Machine. Is it disrespectful that all right? So Lamont Peterson defeats David Avanesyan, right? Sergey Lipinets stops Lamont Peterson, retires him. Boots doesn't get credit for Lipinets even though he stopped him. And Terence Crawford goes past Virgil, goes past Ugas, goes past Thurman, goes past Boots, and picks Mean Machine when y'all have been trying to fight him for the last couple of years.
Yeah, we've been trying to fight over.
Jamil, come on, Jamil. Come on now. I know that's your people. Come on, Jamil. You ain't off limits, bro. And you know it's all respect. Come on, bro. How did Crawford go past all them? Where was these guys in place for Crawford to be, you know, to select? We're just sitting around. All of a sudden, Crawford just sitting around and he's supposed to reach down, because if he's fighting Boots, that's what he's doing. If he's fighting Virgil, that's what he's doing, right? Because he's champion. When your people there just saying he was reaching down, why did he reach down and grab Avanesyan? Y'all talk about what Lamont Peterson did. Y'all talking about what Igis Kavalauskas did, right? Why would Crawford reach down and there's nothing in it for him? Just like y'all said with him reaching down for Avanesyan, you said it was nothing in it for him. You say he went past all these people, and you put in there how Jaron Ennis don't get no credit for stopping Sergey Lipinets. That's not entirely true. People give him credit. It's just not that whole credit, that credit that you look for and say, okay, he was up here just fighting the top competition himself and he was undefeated. No, Lipinets was a former 140 pounder. We got to keep it a buck there, Jamil. We got to keep it a buck, like they always bringing up Gamboa hurting Crawford at 135, and people want to bring that up all the time. Oh, that was a featherweight. That was this, that, and the other. Well, you know, if Sergey Lipinets is moving up, and he's went in there and retired a common opponent that who went in there and beat. So you're going to give Lamont Peterson credit for beating David Avanesyan, and then you turn around and want to dare speak about Sergey Lipinets retiring an older, over-the-hill Lamont Peterson, which bleeds over to the entire fact of people speaking about Kell Brook and Sean Porter being a shell in themselves when they fought Terence Crawford. How is he going to get credit for that shit? How is Sergey getting credit for retiring Lamont Peterson when y'all don't want to give credit to Terence Crawford retiring Sean Porter? getting him up out of there. Capiche? You know what I'm saying? Gone. Johnny. Sayonara. How y'all gonna sit up here and say that, oh, well, he passed everybody, he didn't want to fight Boots? Who his Boots fought to get in the ring with Crawford, though? Truth be told, Jaron Ennis and freaking David Avanesyan, if you wanted to compare resumes now, come on now. We always give credit to those fighters who stepped in the ring because they do that with Sean Porter. So if you're going to say he was stopped by Igis Kavalauskas, right, and he was defeated by Lamont Peterson, where's Lamont Peterson on Jaron Ennis's record? Where's the Igis Kavalauskas on Jaron Ennis's record? Where is a Terrence Crawford on Boots' record? So if you just criticize Crawford for reaching down for Avanesyan, why would he reach down for Boots? Boots ain't fought nobody. What are y'all talking about over there? And this is in all respect, bro. It's hard. You know, you got to say that when you're talking to brothers, because some of these brothers be getting no. That's not where I'm at with it. I'm just saying, man, when you break down and you separate and everything, y'all peeling back layers and talking about what Lamont Peterson was able to do and what Igis Kavalauskas was able to do with David Avanesyan. But then you turn around and say Sergey Lipinets, who Jaron Ennis has got up out of there in 6 rounds, he went in there and retired Lamont Peterson. Well, are y'all going to bleed that over to Errol Spence Jr.? Do it pretty much devalue when he went in there and gave Lamont Peterson a beating? I mean, I'm not seeing the same thing now. I'm not seeing the same thing. I'm not seeing the same freaking record be held accountable. Hold on for a second. Let's get this audio over with. And big salute to everyone that's in the building, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up as always.
Exactly. Hold on, man. You know what I mean? But that's the business, man. That's the business we're in. They can do what they want to do. You already see this now when I was telling you before. Now it's coming to pass. You know what I mean? They control that. We don't control that, man. You can send petitions in to the IBF or whoever you want to send it to. It ain't gonna mean nothing. I think money talks and bullshit walk, they said.
WBC started.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, see, Suleiman
started.
take care of his
You know what I mean? He take care of his, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? And he started, and now everybody else follows suit.
Yeah.
So it ain't no, it used to be, you know, the IBF used to stand up and at least stand on that.
Yeah, they used to do that.
You know what I mean? They used to stand on it, and, you know, but now they done start following suit. Everybody doing the same thing. Yeah,
But
like, you know what I mean? Terrence Crawford sitting on the WBO for what? For how long? They ain't doing nothing with it.
But listen.
So that's all I got with that one, because they pretty much saying that, you know, Terrence Crawford is now set on the WBO, ain't doing nothing with it, which is cap. In 2021, he fought Sean Porter, man. So you can't say he ain't doing nothing with it. And then he after Errol Spence came out the ring with Udenis Ugas, they was in negotiations. He ended up fighting David Avanesyan. Why he ain't doing nothing with it? I mean, shouldn't you be talking about Errol Spence? It's almost like they refuse to even talk about Errol Spence because he was born over their way. They don't want to say nothing about Spence, nothing bad about Spence, man. They just like Spence don't exist in this biased cloud of freaking conversation. Spence don't even exist, y'all. He don't even exist in this. Like, you're talking about somebody to quickly debate you and say, yeah, he had a mandatory with the WBC. Well, what about all the couple of titles that he has? What about Mauricio Suleiman saying that Oh, in our best interest and for the good spirit of the WBC, we're gonna hold on, and for the fairness of everybody, we're gonna make sure we take care of Jamal Charlo, and he's able to sit out the ring as long as he's like. We're just gonna make sure he's well taken care of. His fluids are right, his blood pressure's where it needs to be, because he's going through a tough time. So we're here to support you. We embrace you. This is the same guy now. Come on now. You know WC has to bring you right back around now. Pull the shoot, goddamn it. Jump, pull the shoot. Goddamn it. This is the same people who was up there trying to rename or trying to say it's a freedom belt to the Charlos. Is this one of those gifts, those return gifts for making a fool of you? Didn't they give him a belt, Mauricio Suleiman, with two black hands holding one another? Just hang in there. Nigga, just hang in there. I got you. I got you. Two black hands, the freedom belt. Y'all remember that? Is it just me? Because I don't follow boxing that much. Is it just me that he tried to rename Devin Haney belt the Pride belt? But now all of a sudden, Jamal Charlo is going on his 66th month out the ring. And they're saying, we're going to do everything possible. Being that the check is cleared, we're going to make sure that Jamal Charlo is well taken care of. And we're just here. We're here to be his rock, his shoulder to cry on. You know what I'm saying? We're going to allow him to maintain. I was like, what about, the only reason that is actually happening, because the 160-pound division ain't did shit. But anyway, let's get back to the task at hand. Hey, bro. I would rather look you in the chat, you hanging out, bro. But when you start talking about all that other stuff you talking, that's outside of boxing. Why should I keep you around, bro? Like, if you're gonna put that type of information, keep it on boxing. And I don't care if you're not going for what I'm talking about. You understand? But once you take it off to all this, homoerotic type shit, nut riding, dick riding, and all that, I'm gonna tell you to take your thoughts and everything to somebody else's channel, man. That's all. That's all you can do with that. Me and you, we ain't thinking the same right now. Every time I have something to say to somebody, it's not speaking about dick and nut riding and all this other shit like you young ass niggas do that don't have a depth of vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? Boxing fan talk on deck. Villa is definitely not scared. No, he ain't scared, bro. Shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing with the $2 super chat in the building. You know what I'm saying? Get this nigga guap a bologna sandwich, please. I know that's why he here. He was here the other day when we was talking about bologna and cheese sandwiches. For real. But shout out to Blunts for the $2 super chat. It's much appreciated to you. One love, man. Milk Drinkers Anonymous. That ain't you, G. Man, this dude over here looking for the freaking the Errol Spence, the Aerosexual Relief Fund. You know what I'm saying? He want one of them freshly made bologna sandwiches that's waiting. That's all. Toby Bartlett on deck. Salute WCS and the chat. We're global, baby. We're global. Yes, sir. 3 weeks to the big fish fry. Hey, we ready, man. We ready. You know what I'm saying? Shout out across the pond, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always good to be global. Then David Avalanche beat Sugar Shane Mosley. Hey, don't start spitting those facts out there, man. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Don't put those facts out there. For real. Because they just don't want to give no credit to Terrence Crawford when it comes down to it. They don't want to give nobody no credit, man. They just want to keep talking about what Terrence Crawford hasn't done. You feel me? But let's talk about some things, though. Let's get some understanding that we're hours away. And, when just to hype on what Juice was talking about, he fought Shane Mosley 49-9-1. back in 2016 and won a unanimous decision. But these are perfect examples of, not every fighter digs deep into a resume before they go on here and talk in the gym. They just talking with surface type shit. Whatever they can see floating around on the surface, they cool with it. And this has been floating around on the surface since 2022 with David Avanesyan. But look, this is what they'll tell you. Check this out, Juice. I'm glad you brought this up. This is what they'll tell you about Shane Mosley, that he was over the hill retired. But yet they just spoke on Sergey Lipinets retiring Lamont Peterson that was in the same position as Shane Mosley. Not only that, they were saying it in reference to giving Boots credit for beating Sergey Lipinets. They're not going to give the just due credit, man, until you drop the gems on top of their head, man. You know what I'm saying, Juice? That's all. They didn't know David A. was an active European champ, former WBA interim champ, ranked in the sanctioning body. Absolutely, man. You know what I'm saying? Be careful. When you crack them gems, Blunts, sometimes they leave open gaping wounds, man. People be bleeding out from dropping them facts on them. All y'all doing is talking, chit chatter, gym talk. But y'all need to do y'all need to do more research. Just because you in the sport of boxing doesn't mean you can talk on and speak on the sport of boxing. But like I just said, they're not going to give credit they're not going to give credit for Avanesyan beating Shane Mosley, but they will get credit for Sergey Lipinets beating Lamont Peterson, who was defeated by Jaron Ennis. They would do. Come on, bro. They want you to big up Sergey Lipinets because he went up there and beat Lamont Peterson, who faced Errol Spence. What about the damage that Errol Spence did to Lamont Peterson? What about that damage? Wasn't he stopped? Wasn't he stopped? Come on, man. And make it so bad. It makes so bad, Blunts and everybody in the chat. It's so easy. Where is Sergey Lipinets now? You're bragging about a 140-pounder? You're bragging about a 140-pounder, bro. So you gotta extract, even though he has some fights up there, 147. Where is he now, though? Where is he now? That's the biggest question. No doubt, man. Stick 'em, boys, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Ranked 6 to be exact. No doubt. Man, y'all picking and choosing certain avenues that you want to travel. You know what I'm saying? Certain avenues you get away with the speed limit. No, man. We know what this traffic like over here. We know what it's like. Keith Thurman avoided fighting David A. when the fight got ordered. Them dumb niggas just don't know shit about boxing. They just look at resumes. None of those dudes would say that to Bud Face. They'd be real comfortable in the gym. Look, I look at it like this. It's not anything personal to me with these dudes talking, because that type of talk is gym talk. They represent who they want to represent. They know they're going to keep Spence, from their conversation because he was born there but raised in Texas, as Spence says, right? Obviously, they have disdain for Crawford over there because it's been a lot of rhetoric, that came out of that gym about Crawford. A lot. And it's not necessarily true. But if your talking point is going to praise a 140-pounder now, 140-pounder, and then just like it was mentioned, Blunt said he was an EBU, a European champion, right? And people complain how he was a European champion and Crawford, allow him to. Of course, he's going to leave that belt if he's going to make more money with Crawford in Omaha. Why not leave it? Fighters do it all the time. It's a problem now because Avanesyan and y'all don't know who this guy is. But y'all don't need to know who he is because the only thing about it, y'all finger point at Crawford to say, oh, why he fighting this guy we don't know nothing about. Well, y'all don't know anything about Villa. Y'all didn't know anything about Chukhadzhian, but y'all sure enough took boots through fight camp to fight this guy. let's go up here and find out some things. One more. We need to find out one. Look, hold up. Let me see. I want to show y'all something right quick. Korean Chukhadzhian, 22-2, 12 knockouts, 5'9", okay? German fighter, okay? Right? It's gonna stick. He was coming off a 29-7 fighter in April 2023 this year. He won via TKO. Now, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all over there. You know, it wasn't so much Ennis, but this is the gem on how they talk so greasy about Crawford when it come to boxing. Like he ain't did nothing, but Jaron Ennis ain't did anything either. And this no disrespect, man. But he fought Michel Marcano. This is Korean Chukhadzhian. April of this year, and he won with a second round stoppage. But yet he was coming off a UD loss after fighting Ennis. Now what type of value does he get? What type of value do he get, bro? In April this year, he went and fought a 29-7 fighter and won in April of 2023. And then when he fought Ennis, that was the first fight of 2023. So after he fought Ennis, he went up here and fought a guy 29-7. So obviously he ain't trying to improve anything. He's not trying to improve anything, period. But hold up, wait a minute. They talk about how Avanesyan had lost to Lamont Peterson and Igor Kavalaskis, right? But Chukhadzhian, in his second professional fight, he lost to a guy in his debut. David Avanesyan, a fighter that Ennis then was trying to fight themselves. He had an early fight that he lost, I think his second professional fight in his career. But the only ones y'all mentioned is Lamont Peterson and Igor Kavalaskis. But y'all forget about Shane Mosley. I got it. I understand. Blunts, they only know 4.5 fighters. And the crazy thing is Bud is their favorite as much as they bring the man up. They hate just misplaced. Now, I can't understand it, man. Why they got so much hate over there for Bud when it's no rivalry? It's no rivalry over there in Philly, bro, with Bud. Look, if y'all wanted to build up some type of rivalry, why did you all petition the IBF? Okay. Hold on for a second. Let me take you there. Now hold up. I can't do it. I fucked around and went too far up. It'll take too much time. Let me see. Maybe I might be able to pull it up. I might. Let's see. Hey, there's some people that got hope. There's some people that got hope, and it's good. Okay, check this out. Listen to this.
Are you expecting the IBF to order Jaron Ennis versus Earl Spence
We
now?
sent a petition to already.
I mean,
I sent one in.
you would expect it,
It's
but
supposed to
now
be.
I know what it's gonna be. Now you're gonna go by, all right, why do I gotta fight Jaron Ennis, or why do I gotta fight somebody in the top 5 when you got Terrence Crawford, go and find somebody that's fighting in the top 10?
Exactly.
So now
Here we go. They're talking about them petitioning the IBF, but yet they're bringing in Terrence Crawford. Look, the whole objective and target point is Errol Spence Jr. because that's the route they took. They took the IBF route. They petitioned the IBF. They petitioned the IBF. They petitioned the IBF. So I'm saying, come on, bro. Like I don't like using these cliche terms, man. I'm too old to be using capping all the time, you know, and all these terminology that come up to basically take the place of just common English, right? But sometimes they're needed because if your objective and targeted point within the sanctioning bodies is to go after the unified champion and Errol Spence Jr., why are you speaking about a fighter that's in a sanctioning body where you pulled out to become the IBF interim title holder? Why are you even speaking his name? At this point, it makes no sense. At this point, it makes absolutely no sense to continue talking about what Crawford did and why you don't like it, but yet you didn't hang around long enough so you can prove to the people that you better than Crawford. You can prove to the people that, yeah, he messed up by fighting David Avanesyan or David Anesthesian. He should have fought us, and then we finally get all shot. You didn't stay over there. You went the IBF route, dog. They went the IBF route, man, because they know, they believe big time that Errol Spence is an easier fight than Terrence Crawford. I'm just telling you, bro, like, this shit don't make no sense, man. It don't make any sense. I can see Bud walking in the gym now, and all these niggas get quiet. Shout out to True Media Today, USA Boxing, Coach Malachi, and the point. In the building, what's good with it? I kind of read your point while I was in my thought process. What's good with it, Coach? Hopefully everything is great for you down in the A, man. Even Keith was in talks to fight David when he was champ. Virgil was in talks to fight David, but he not good enough for no resume boots. I don't get it. I don't get it either. Y'all dropping some hardcore facts, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what textbook you got open. You need to close that shit. You know, because you're gonna have some disruptive students that don't want to hang around to listen. You know what I'm saying? You might have to give them one of those hall passes to go see the principal, dog. They're not paying attention. His name is not Jaron Ennis Hernandez. The script is different. Hey, bro. They keep talking about Crawford, but I'm like, dude, Sergey Lipinets is at 140 pounds. He went back down to where he was comfortable, where he was formerly a world champion. And that is really the only name you have bragging rights with out of 30 professional fights. You definitely don't get no love off Korean Chukhadzhian. Korean Chukhadzhian lost to you and then when the father got out had 7 or 8 losses or something. How do you get credit off that? How do you get credit off that, man? He had an early loss in his career in the second pro fight. He fights you. Nobody knows who this dude is. You go the distance with a nobody. But you have 30 professional wins. But yet the talking point is what Crawford haven't done. All your people over there is talking about, not all of them, some of them, it's talking about what Crawford hasn't done. But yet you didn't stay in the WBO rankings to prove to the people that you're a threat. It's no way that you can become a rival to Crawford right now because you're in different sanctioning bodies. And when Crawford wins these titles July 29th, he's going to vacate and move up to 154. But the good thing about it, depending on what happens with Jamel Charlo, he gets knocked out in the 7th, 8th round or whatever it is. Crawford still may be able to fight Mel Charlo for the rest of his belts. It all depends. That's if they make the fight. I'm not dogging them out like that, man. I got respect for them over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's no need for me to get personal with them for no reason. Like what? Me talking about what they do in their personal life is me being hypocritical, because you know what I'm saying. Like, it's no reason for me to do that. I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, it's no reason for me to talk shit about them for real. I respect what YSM got going on over there. I respect Bozy. I respect what Boots got going on. You know, it's no reason for me to get nasty with these dudes, all because they get nasty with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Crawford is a fighter who I support heavy, but at the end of the day, I don't know him personally either. But I will drop some hot grease on boxing topics. You know, I will call them out on certain things that ain't fucking adding up. You're so focused on where Crawford was reaching at, but yet y'all been reaching at the bottom of the barrel for a long time. For a long time, man. I thought that was a big hairy guy, Chukhadzhian. Yeah, man, like, come on. They saying anesthesia and all that, man. They don't want to give that man no love, bro. And you dare mention Sugar Shane Mosley. Oh, he was over here, his grandpa. Oh, shit. Well, you know, I want to tell y'all a little secret. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. Hold on for a second. Let me tell you a little secret. So, check this out, y'all. You know, I've been around a time or two, shouty. A time or two, right? So, y'all remember them saying Sergey Lipinets retired Lamont Peterson? Okay. Well, he had a fight after that. You know what I'm saying? In the DMV where he was stopped in the 4th round. I believe. Yeah, in Washington, right? But see, I have an interview with Lamont Peterson where I asked him, would he ever get in the ring again? And he said, no, I'm done. I'm not getting in the ring again. But on this particular card, when he fought a 16-16 fighter and was stopped, I don't know if he did it because his brother Anthony Peterson was on the card or whatever the case may be, but he was stopped in the 4th round. So therefore, how much credit is given when Lipinets, you know what I'm saying, was fighting a fighter who was coming off a stoppage against Errol Spence Jr., who a lot of people looked at that as being a beating that he gave Lamont Peterson. And Lamont came back over a year later and fought Sergey Lipinets. So I did hear in that same gym them talking about inactivity. I mean, we can go all day with this shit. It's boxing. These fighters these days, they only fight once or twice a year. So it's activity. That's what it is, people. It's nothing crazy. It's just activity, man. You know what I'm saying? Sergey Lipinets fought Lamont Peterson after being out the ring over a year. I think about 14 months out of the ring. But yet they talk about inactivity when it comes to Crawford. He's fighting guys with inactivity. It happens, bro. Look how long Errol Spence was out of the ring. Look how long Jamal been out. Come on, man. We can go on and on for, you know, how long these fighters been out the ring. But it's only pertinent to the fighter that you want to zone into and say, oh, man, he's fighting fighters that have been out the ring. Yeah, a lot of fighters. If we want to do common opponents, that's why I say there's levels upon research when you're looking up a fighter's resume. You look at their opponents, and you gauge the calendar time in between. That's all you have to do. And then a lot of this shit, it either adds up or doesn't. No complaints when Wilder fought Hellenius, who was knocked out by Gerald Washington. No, nope, not at all. Shout out to I Am Cam Edwards on deck. One love to the Archbishop WCS, everyone in the chat, the apostles in the building to live the hands and spread the good news of boxing. Can we get an amen to the apostles on deck? Always a pleasure, Cam, to see you in the building. Salute to Omaha. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Omaha. Salute to the apostles that's in the backyard over there. You know what I'm saying? That's close to it. Right there in the gym. Appreciate you pulling up, big dog. Shout out to OP. He said, bro, just finished your Nello talk. Video saw you live. I bet the bag on Villa. I love Boots. He got serious talents, but can we talk about his resume? That's what I was doing, most of the earlier live. I already put it out there that, the primary one is on Boots' resume that sends out any type of light. You know what I'm saying? That, how you have a lighthouse just floating out there. That's how Sergey Lipinets is on Boots' resume. He's just a damn name that floating out there, has a pretty radiant light bulb to it. And they say, oh, that's Sergey. Oh, cool. That's the one Mikey Garcia did a little dirty, huh? Okay, cool. I got it. I mean, Sergey, I give him his respect. I give Sergey his respect. I like Sergey actually as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to credibility, when it comes to all this talking about who Crawford has reached down in the bottom of the barrel and who he surpassed to fight Avanesyan, no, the shit don't add up. Because at the end of the day, Boots, your record is no better than Sergey Lipinets. Truth be told, your record is no better than Sergey Lipinets. Sergey Lipinets stepped in there with a 4-division champion, Mikey Garcia. You know how those debates go? And you know how those debates go when they say, okay, who is he fought? And they want to talk about common opponents, and they want to highlight, opposition that's on your resume to kind of boost up your FICO on your resume. Well, I mean, you don't have one opponent that can boost up your FICO like that to get people interested. I'm just saying, that's just the way I see it, bro. Like that's just the way I see it. 30 victories and your last fight was a distance with Jaron Chukhadzhian, who fought a guy with 7 losses after he lost to you. So to me, this guy seems like he's just fighting for a check. But you went the distance with him. But yet y'all sit up here and say what Crawford did, but yet Boots, you couldn't even cut off the ring with Jaron Chukhadzhian. This is no knock. Y'all have to understand, if I'm critiquing, and yes, it sounds like criticism. You can't get mad at WCS, but yet you don't get mad at the people that's in your gym, because I'm doing the same thing y'all doing. If you saying providing this scrutiny to Crawford on what he's doing, what he didn't do, and he surpassed, and he didn't fight this person, he didn't fight that. Why he reached down the bottom of the barrel and fought Avanesyan? I'm doing the same thing y'all doing. I'm like, is anybody able to critique Bosie's son? Or that's off limits? Can we critique him being highlighted for doing or having some of the same style as Crawford, being a switch hitter, but it just ain't the same? Because when Crawford switches, it's for a reason. When Boots switches, we don't know why. We don't know why he's switching. This man up here talking about he got Villa. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know who's going to win this fight. I don't know who's going to win. OP. You know what I'm saying? He's not the topic of discussion, big dog. He's not the topic of discussion. If you look at the thumbnail, it's pretty clear to see. If you wear some type of opticals, right, or focals that you might have went to American Best, a Lens Crafters, put them on and take a peek at what I put in the thumbnail. They said Avanesyan was a nobody, KO'd in 6 by Terrence Crawford. Roymond Villa, 30 years old. Don't let this nobody. Don't let this nobody go past 6 rounds. Because the reason why I put it out there is because Avanesyan was stopped in 6 rounds, who was also stopped by Igis Kavazlakis in the 6 rounds. But Crawford stuck to what he knows best with gloves that was coming apart and all that, and he got Avanesyan up out of there. Don't let Villa, a fighter that no one knows, a Colombian fighter, except with Rashidi Ellis, don't let him take you the distance like Korean Chukhadzhian. And furthermore, don't let him put you in a situation that is saying, oh man, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Something ain't right, dog. You feel me? Toby Bartley, one love. I am Cam Edwards. We're global. Yes, sir. We are global. He said, nah, that audio is cap. I feel you. Shout out to OP, man. This is the first time I seen you on here. But much respect to you, brother, for supporting the channel, you know, with the $50 half a hundo on deck. Salute to you, brother. It's much appreciated. I respect how you break it down. Listen to everyone. WCS isn't taking sides. Keep being the hot knife to cut through the BS. I like, you know how I like the slick words, the hot knife. I like the blaze, dog. You know what I'm saying? I like the blaze, man. Appreciate you dropping that in the chat, man. Thanks for the support, man. No doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? You made my day. You know what I'm saying? It's a Saturday. We got fight night. And the chat's been cooking. You know what I'm saying? The chat's been cooking. But big shout out to OP. You know what I'm saying? For that $50 super chat. You know, make sure you sub to the channel, my brother. One love to you. Cam on deck. Shout out to the OG Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. I mean, people over here to my I don't want to speak about Ray. You from the gym. You probably one of the coaches over there. Hey, I'll tell you what, let's stop playing games. Let's stop playing games, dog. Let's stop playing games. Here go the link for you. This link is for young Charlie Guap, man. There go the link, man. If you are feeling some type of way about what I'm saying about comment about that gym over there go the link for you right there. We can just put this to rest. All right. All that typing you're doing, I'm pretty sure you got a voice behind that, right? So you want to talk some boxing? Go ahead, man. But make sure you understand that what you're talking on the chat, I want you to stay on topic. We're not talking about Ray. No, we're talking about what's in the thumbnail. If you're over here for boosts, or you over here to talk shit about Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford is not in the thumbnail. Terrence Crawford is not in the thumbnail, bro. We're talking about a fight that's going to take place several hours from now. We're talking about what's in the thumbnail. Y'all can say aerosexual, but okay, so pretty much you over here for Crawford. You can't even stay on topic. You can't even stay on topic. We're talking about Jaron Ennis and Ramon Villa. And we're talking about opponents. We're talking about opponents that has been mentioned. You know what I'm saying? How they criticize Crawford fighting Avanesyan, but Jaron Ennis is supposed to be the next best. And my criticism is that with 30 victories, I mean, who's on your record is a David Avanesyan? Who's on your record besides Sergey Lipinets? I'm talking about a 147 pounder. Sergey had what? Several fights, three or four fights before you fought him at 147, whatever. But you're talking about a former interim world champion and an EBU, a European champion. So y'all can't discount Avanesyan like he was shit because he got stopped by Igis Kavalaskis and he lost a UD to Lamont Peterson. OP said it's like the Twitter crazy, just repeating ideologies they heard from someone else. That's YTC too. YTC and the Twitter are somewhat intertwined when it goes to the media lifeline. You know what I'm saying? The communication lines are one of the same. A lot of information that is disseminated on the YTC bleeds over to Twitter. And a lot of information for Twitter, especially tweets, is screenshotted and placed into IG and it makes its way over here to YTC. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I totally get what you're saying with that. But those are that's the triangle. That's the media Bermuda triangle right there. YTC, IG, and Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Forget Facebook. A lot of people on Facebook, they don't know shit about boxing for real. I put the link out there, bro. You don't have to type no more. The link is out there for you. The link is out there for you, man. The link is out there, man. You don't have to do all the typing and talking about bud. I mean, you seem like you have this problem with a person that you probably never met. You know what I'm saying? Just look, just click the link and we'll talk sensibly. You know what I'm saying? He talking about ops and all that. Shout out to Green in the building, man. Salute WCS in the chat. Lipinets is a career kickboxer. They tend to leave that out. we're trying to baby step them Green. We're not trying to bring in also Vasil Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about Josh Taylor. All these guys, you know, they have disciplines, other disciplines for real. I mean, not to mention, you know, Joe Joyce. They have, you know, he has other disciplines. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford, he has his wrestling pedigree. I mean, it's a lot of fighters out here that has alternate skill sets, but appreciate you dropping that knowledge, bro. You know what I'm saying? Spencer's never beaten an undefeated champion. Hey, y'all coming here swinging these blades. It's about to turn into Mortal Kombat, man. Let me quickly take a break. I need to go get the bandages. It just seems like some heavy hitters, you know, the chat has become more turned up and intense. You know what I'm saying? The violence is absolutely ramped up right now because we're a day closer to July 29th. So you got cats in here swinging serrated edges, you know, swords and knives and shit, cutting motherfuckers' Achilles tendons off, coming here talking that bullshit. Shout out to the MACKMOBB, the Mac Mob on deck in the building, man. What's going on, B-Mac? How you feeling, bro? One love to OGWCS. We on deck. Hit them like buttons to subscribe to the channel. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you pulling up, and y'all do the same for the Mac Mob. Check him out. Check out Am Cam Edwards. Check out Big Blunts and boxing. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Man, check out these channels, bro. The Exo Factory's in the building. I saw the Exo, you know, in the car. Goddamn like Miami Vice. You know what I'm saying? Like he was cruising down the boulevard and shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit. He had the bucket on. And shit. You know, I feel you. You know, in the A, the sun was out. He had the bucket on. Cam say Bud has beaten more undefeated fighters and champions than Arrow. You know, hey, Guap is not here to basically speak knowledge. He's here for attention. Period. That's what he's here for. That's what he's here for. W says, what's good, big bro? I'm on deck. One love to all my brothers in the chat. One love to you, bro. The Exo Factory is in the building. Salute to your brother on this Saturday. Yes, sir. I'm well aware of the records. Let me ask you, whose arrow fault that's actually hit him clean in the past 5 fights? More than 5 to 10 punches per fight. I'm not even against arrow like that. Talk your shit, man, because you know these people that are coming in here supporting arrow. I've already put it out there, OP, that these cats be angry all the time. All we trying to do in here is talk boxing. Now we're not gonna always agree. Even the ones who support Bud, Bud Crawford supporters, we may not agree all the time on everything. But what I can say about people I know in the chat, they pretty much well educated on what boxing is about, and then the history and what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? The criteria on how they're going to break down, resumes. And like I said last night, it's a lot of these freaking mainstream podcasters that are regurgitating what they hear from the YTC. They can't break down a half a layer deeper than the point they're trying to make, but they get on there and say something about, well, so-and-so ain't fought nobody. Well, what are you saying about that? Oh, I'm not going to get into it. Okay, there you go. You ain't going to get into it. So you'd rather hear something on the YTC and just go out here and repeat it because it's trending. I get it. If somebody's still talking about Terrence Crawford's resume, then I have to call you a casual, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because the resume at welterweight, we're talking about the welterweight because Crawford was doing other things. He was doing other things prior to getting 47. We already know what he did. Come on, man. He was doing other things like he's supposed to. While Spence was doing what Spence was doing. You feel me? Frank Martin, Cool Boy Steph, perfect examples. Cool Boy going with Figueroa. Close. Cool Boy verse. That's starting that resume early for his weight division on the PBC banner. I think Cool Boy Steph is one of the, stylistically, he's one of the most technically sound boxers. You know what I'm saying? Like he would be in my top 7. Like I like to see Cool Boy Steph fight. I do. He fought Angelo Leo different than what he fought Brandon Figueroa. You know what I'm saying? Dude can box, man. I'm curious to know he's going to look like against Inoue. That's going to be a good fight. And once again, salute to him for taking a fighter that's stepping up from being bantamweight undisputed. He's going over in his backyard. You know what I'm saying? I give him all the props in the world because at least Inoue is not coming off 2 weight divisions up and taking the beating. And Cool Boy trying to say, okay, let me fight you. Yeah, I'll fight you. No, he's moving up the division. And in a way, salute to him. He's trying to go for titles at super bantamweight. And Cool Boy Steph is saying, cool. I don't have no problem with that. Let's fight. I respect that shit. WJ Luckett in the building. What's good with it, Luckett? What's good on this Saturday? Everybody that's in the chat. When you're top level, you got to look at how they perform. Do we blame the audible call when it doesn't work like we do in boxing? No. So we can't blame game plans. We can't put the blame on game plans because the fight does change. A lot of factors and variables play into that. Fatigue is a big factor. But before fatigue, if there are situations in the fight where, according to how a fighter looked last fight, if they're coming out looking the same way, or if a significant punch is landed that deems effective to break that fighter down earlier than what we expected. Let's just say a fighter takes a punch that we didn't see coming, and it hurt that fighter, and it kind of changed the whole dynamic of the fight early. Game plans are just there to say, okay, based off what we know from the film study, we're going to go in here with this game plan. It doesn't mean when the bell rings, that game plan for both sides is going to work. We know that's not the truth because we did hear some astute, I'm talking about some astute assessment from Virgil and Breadman yesterday. How they wasn't speaking about punches. OP, yeah, they was pretty much speaking about what you were saying about, you know what I'm saying? They was pretty much saying, hey, well, this fight may get to a point where game plans don't matter. This fight may get to a point where game plans don't matter. Both fighters may come out the gate with a game plan, but it may reach a point during the fight that they throw that out the window and they both and it just turns into a fight. And that's sort of kind of what a lot of people are hoping that don't happen when it comes to the Errol Spence fans. They don't want it because they have results from when Crawford throws out the game plan, he ends fights. But then you have some that may believe, I'm talking about to their heart of hearts, that if this fight breaks out, if this boxing match breaks out into a fight, it would benefit the Errol Spence who's used to coming forward with pressure and just throwing punches. It would benefit him because they think Crawford's extremely small and he's vulnerable to taking punches to the body. Why? Because damn near a decade ago, Yildiz Gamboa landed a shot. He landed a shot, y'all. The infamous Gamboa can be walking on the beach in Miami and somebody say, you know, I was just watching the podcast and they mention your name, how you hurt Crawford. Yeah, they've been talking about that for years, man. But, you know, I've since moved on. That was like a decade ago, man. Yeah, I was just, you know, they was yelling and screaming and cussing each other out. And I thought y'all had fought last week. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why are they still talking about this shit? But we can't wait, man. We getting down to the get down. I caught up at WCS All Good, just pointing out the double standards. No doubt. You already know. You already know. I'm catching up on the chat too. I like to prove a fanboy. And bring up Terrence versus Postal because I'm not talking how good Postal is. I'm looking at what Bud doing to a pro former champion. He did, man. And you know, you're talking about a strong Victor Postal, man. Come on. Who's seen Crawford knocking down Postal like that, breaking him down? Postal was a strong fighter, man. But yet, the crazy part about it, OP, is when boxing debates come up with Crawford, the main people that they mention is pretty much in comparison to who Errol Spence is at welterweight. They don't bring up the Victor Postals, man. When they talk about Ricky Burns, they don't care that he went over and got that belt. It wasn't in Omaha, Nebraska. They don't talk about multi-time world champion Ricky Burns. They just discount him because they're not familiar with him. Ricky Burns was a tough motherfucker, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people. They discount Felix Diaz. They just don't want to give no credit because they're not familiar with him. They're not familiar with him. But you know who, when it comes down to Olympics, they'll say, oh, man, Olympians. Well, the ones I know is Vasil Lomachenko, right? You know, they're just bringing Vasil Lomachenko because so many people made a big deal about it. They bring up Errol Spence, Olympian. They'll try to allude to the fact that, hey, man, he went to the Olympics. But they won't talk about that no males on that team medaled. Only 2 females. No males medaled. But that's not to take away from the males that was on there that went on to do great things. Jamel Herring, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like even Jojo Diaz was on that team. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, dog. Spence felt he was robbed. They gave him another shot, and he said he lost his mojo and he couldn't get it done. Come on now. But when it comes to Crawford, he doesn't get no credit for Julius Ndongo. He don't get no credit for wiping away the O's on these guys' record. And one thing they criticized Deontay Wilder for was that his overall technical deficiency, like he was deficient in his technical skill set, right? But yet God bless him with power. But yet Crawford provides you with that overall boxing skill set. They provide you with all the bullet points and the fundamentals that you would teach your fighter, and some things you can't teach in the gym, right? He gives you all that. He gives you that package, right? But they don't like him. They don't like him. Yeah, he ain't fault. I saw this podcaster the other night talking about, oh, man. They talking about, oh, we got this big fight coming in July. And you got Crawford there. Man, I don't like Crawford resume. And then I'm like, somebody ask him, please. Somebody ask him why. Why you don't like it? Man, I just don't like his resume. He ain't fought nobody. I said, you sound stupid, man. You know what I'm saying? You just sound stupid. Y'all running with the same narratives, man. Y'all hear one podcast that's in the industry or something, and somebody y'all can relate to, and then y'all just run with that shit. Barefooted. Through glass, goddamn it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all run barefooted through glass just to goddamn push a narrative down to another person. Man, let me break this down to you. Man, Crawford ain't fought nobody, man. Let me take this glass. Can you help me take this glass out my feet? No, nigga, I'm gone. I ain't tell you to run through this shit. OG always joking around, dog. I got boots by first round knockout. And he ain't knocking out A Blunts. He ain't knocking out no villain no first round, dog. We already been down this around the corner and back. You know what I'm saying? He ain't knocking out no villain no first round, dog. He's not a knockout artist like that. It took him 6 rounds to knock out 140-pounder Blunts. Come on now. Don't start being him. It took him 6 rounds to knock out Lipinets. 6 freaking rounds, bro. 6 rounds, man. And you think he's going in here and just wiping away Villa? Man, you giving the power too much, bro. I'll keep it on topic. My fault derailing and carrying on. No, I'm not really. Look, I've talked about what's on the thumbnail as long as I supposed to. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted Guap to get on here and talk some boxing. That's all. But that link drops down there and then he disappears. I guess he was next to David Copperfield. You know what I'm saying? I guess he wanted to just peek in here and then disappear and then talk with David Blaine and come back a little later, man. I don't know. Yeah, Green in the building. Hey, I appreciate that, OP. No doubt. I appreciate that. Be getting to the chat a little late. He be trying to work on it, though. You know, they're so feel kind of way. Shit. Yeah, for sure, man. It's only me, man. So, hey, I'm trying to do better with the chat, dog. But I be trying to get off, be trying to get off what I'm actually talking about. But I'm trying to stick to doing the chat. And I always say this. Some people don't even acknowledge the chat, man. Except when you come in, they don't even read the chat, dog. They don't even communicate with their listeners like that. They want you to drop $100, $200, $5,000 super chat in that mug just so they can read your super chat and ignore everybody else. Hey, where Spence fans weight drain videos on Kell Brook, their narratives are destroyed. It is, man. Real talk. Let me I don't want to offend or distract. Let me take that thumbnail down and give them some relief. You know what I'm saying? Let me give them some relief. Okay. They can't use that damn weight drain shit no more because 8 months and 17 days is just atrocious. And they wouldn't even provide that man with an extension, to come in there at 100%. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We getting closer to July 29th and all that Kell Brook and Sean Porter fight. I mean, y'all have to check out the Fight Hub TV. It was a very solid panel, man. Very solid. You know what I'm saying? Very solid. Sean Porter said he wished that moment never occurred. But he said with Spence, he said he was just pretty much putting it out there of what he would have did better if he had to do all over again. You know what I'm saying? That says a lot. Hey, man, it's certain people that you can't use the cheat code with. It's certain people that you can't sit up here and cut corners with and think you can play catch up when the bell ring. I said this, Errol Spence, you can't do that with Crawford, period. Salute to you, Neezy. I see you in the building. What's good with it, bro? Kell Brook came out and set the record straight. Yes, sir. And I'm glad these boxers who have heard these narratives on here and all these so-called Spence fans have been saying that, oh, he was a shell of himself. Well, I kind of broke that shit down last night. Like, come on now. How can he be a shell of himself? 8 months, 17 days, taking a beating, and Errol say it didn't matter that his eye socket was broken. It didn't matter. He broke the other one. He felt it was comedy to it. But yet, he goes over there after Kell Brook has fought 3 fights at 154, and he faces Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He faces Crawford, and they try to put it up there that he was a shell of himself, but yet he fought Amir Khan after he fought Crawford. Yeah. Yeah, he was a shell of himself. Okay, I got it. Yeah, for real, right? He said Guap tried me and he ran. Guap, man, he wasn't over here to really do any boxing talk. He was just over here to take us off of Boots. That's all. He was up here talking shit about Bud. You know, obviously he one of them Bud haters. That's all. He one of them Bud haters. He wanted that attention. Kell Brook came out and clarified that preparation was the only problem for him with Bud. And Dominique Ingle said that Brook was trying to tell him how to run the show. That's why he wasn't involved. Hey, I tell people all the time about boxers. Just look at it this way in the corporate world. All right, just take yourself outside the ring. The amount of time you put into a corporate job, it's all about what your experience and what leadership skills you pick up along the way, right? So in a corporate environment, if you stay in the same occupational employment, right, you're building up from your duties. You're learning one job, going to the next, to the next, to the next, to the point where you get in a position where you're delegating, you're supervising, you're managing, so to speak, right? In boxing, when you hear people say that a boxer wanted to do this, this, and this, and you're talking about a boxer who's one that's stepping through the ropes and fighting and have to make those changes, a boxer who, let's just say he's in it for 10 to 15 years. If you put 15 years in a corporate job, you should be in a position where you are instructing, delegating, or have some type of position of authority. That's facts. In boxing, it's a sport where you can be in 15, 20 years and you still got people telling you what to do. Like, I'm not talking about in a sense that no one in the corporate world is going to be telling you what to do, but you're actually one that's taking punishment in training and in the ring on fight night. But yet you still have people that's telling you what to do as if, no, you can't do that right there. No, don't do that right there. No, that's what I want to do. No, you can't do that right there. So when I hear shit about Brook, maybe Brook felt like, I wanted to do this. I feel that I can do that. You know, 32-0. 32-0 walking in there with Sean Porter. 32-0. God damn. Jeez. I mean, how many fights, how many wins do you have to be able to make some calls? You know what I'm saying? How many, you have managers, right, in boxing. And let's just say you have a manager and you have 20 years in the sport and you still have a manager. And you get to a point where you want to make a decision. So I want to make this decision right here. And they say, nah, nah, man. Hey, I need this. Man, I've been in this game 20 years. No, I'm telling you, I want it. No, I don't think that's good, man. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. That's the way I look at it, man. In the corporate world, 20 years in the game, especially the military, you damn near holding a senior. You're senior. You holding down a senior position of leadership, whether it's damn near officer or enlisted. You're in charge of troops. A boxer, they're not in charge of nothing. They still got people tiptoeing them through the next step over and over again, telling them where they should go, what they should do, how they should do it, what they shouldn't do, what they shouldn't sign, who they shouldn't fight. It's crazy, bro. Yes, FHTV panel. Okay, was insanely good. No smoke and mirrors. It all made sense. I feel they put that out and straightened some people out. Yo, Fight Club TV, man, superb panel. And shout out to Virgil and Breadman. God damn, the way they broke that shit down, and how Breadman pretty much, said that Crawford will absolutely need a sparring partner, you know what I'm saying, that can emulate the pressure of Errol Spence. How, you know, he put up some pluses on about Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying, how he keeps his hands up all the time and how he has that constant forward pressure. And then how how Errol Spence has to get, I believe he's the one that made this comment, if how Errol Spence has to get a sparring partner that emulates both the orthodox and unorthodox. And that was very clear that Breadman's mindset is not like the trainer of Errol Spence, because when mentioned by Fight Hype, when asked the question about Terrence Crawford switching stances, Derrick James automatically became enraged and said it. And I mean, on Marco's panel, Marco proposed that question. You know, he got to switch it, and then, you know, he became enraged and said, it don't matter. They don't matter. What are you talking about? That don't matter. Switching don't matter. But Breadman felt it did matter. He felt it was important to be mentioned that they should get a sparring partner that switches stances from orthodox and unorthodox. He thought it was important because Crawford does fight in both stances. Even though they try to dilute it as if it don't matter, it absolutely matters. It absolutely matters, man. You're talking about Errol Spence fighting two southpaws, a couple of southpaws. Come on, man. You think he's not going to have a problem with Crawford who fight from both stances? I caught that breakdown last night at WCS Nothing But Facts. It's refreshing to hear some sensible talk, man. No doubt, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I try to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, in the 50s, where my brain is still able. I don't want to be getting on here and talking about, man, I'm forgetting shit. And then look, the youngest be in the chat talking about, hey, that ain't right, man. Back in the day, you used to get that shit right. Now you getting it all wrong. Niggas like Blood Beer. Hey, this is what I was talking about. These old niggas, man, they falling off, dog. They falling off, man. They can't remember shit, dog. Did you take your fiber, bro? Did you take your fiber? Back in the day, you used to get this shit right, man. Damn, dog. Maybe you just need to do about 2 or 3 lives a week, dog. You can't do 2 a days no more, man. You ain't fit for duty, bro. Eagle also said that he wasn't going to train Brooke due to COVID and the travel risk. People were saying Bud contractually made it impossible for Brooke to have his original trainer. When somebody say a fighter makes it impossible, well, the opposition, let's say the opposition is Bud. What effect does Bud have on Engel, right? And if Engel was having some type of issues just because there was so many travel restrictions, there was still fights that was going on. And not to mention that Kell Brook understood from him making decisions early in his career to step up and fight Gennady Golovkin. He comes off as me as a fighter that's willing to take control of certain situations of his career. So then he has stepped in there with Gennady, stepped in there with Errol Spence, and totally understands what this fight means. And the money was probably decent. He said, I'm going to go over there and fight Crawford. It's not up to me to sit up here and talk about what his training camp, because nobody knew what his training camp consisted of. No one knows it. No one knows what his training camp. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his training camp was. All I know is he made weight and he came in there and he was landing some shots on Crawford a little bit when Crawford was fighting the first round to the end of the third round in orthodox. And then at the end of the third, he switched over to southpaw, opened the fourth, and we all seen what happened. He closed it out. So, hey, man, boxing is forever changing, bro. It's so much, dog. It's so much inclement weather that goes on in boxing all the time. Oh my goodness, man. If y'all can only hear, you go to these fights, if y'all can only hear some of the conversations that happen at these fights, the way people talk about certain fights that ain't happened and what happened at this fight and all that. I mean, you really learn a lot by attending these fights, man. You really hear a lot, man. Stuff that you can't put on camera. You know what I'm saying? You really hear a lot that's going on. Ingle said, I'm the trainer. I'm not going to have anyone tell me how they want their camp running. Some fighters might do that, but it's never been that way with me. I stipulate how to camp. Now, you know, at the end of the day, these people are supposed to be working for the fighter, right? Hold on for a second. Getting back to what you what you put in there. These cats supposed to be working for the fighter. And so, depending on what fighter you come across, it all depends, man. Like, we can't use Floyd Mayweather as a measuring stick anymore, because what he was been able to do, many fighters are incapable of reciprocating how he took control of his career. You know what I'm saying? What he had to do, yeah, they say, oh, he had to make a sacrifice. Yeah, but look what happened when he made the sacrifice. Look what happened with Mikey Garcia when he left the sport to get out of the top rank and then come back. He was able to get the big fight with Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? So, according to where you at, and you know, this is not the first time I heard this about Kell Brook having issues, you know, with his trainer. But who is the trainer working for? Are you working for yourself? Are you dictating everything that goes on? Are you the manager? I mean, they're supposed to work for the fighter. The promotion is supposed to work for the fighter, but we know that's not true, right? If he's not happy with that, then he can do it with somewhere else. A fighter, man, he's the one that's going in there throwing punches. It's just all about where a fighter's at. Some of these fighters are in debt with some of the people that help them around. You know, the support system they have. They may loan them money or something. They may be participating, or they may be providing other essential resources for them. That their fighters are in debt with that trainer, so they feel that they can make those changes and have the say so the way they do. It's just so many things that go on with boxing and make you think a lot. Like, boxing is tough, man. Not only for the physical aspect, the business aspect too. It's extremely tough, man. Boxing is tough. Man, Spence fan Bud told Kell Brook he could have his trainer. Like, nigga, what? And I'm taking those men one a day, central, triple to no worries. Yeah, man, you're gonna get old. You're gonna get one day, you're gonna get old one day or another. You're gonna get old one day or another. You got them damn one a days, boy, them 2 a days or 3 a days, whatever it is. The youngest, man, y'all gonna get there. Don't worry. Don't worry, dog. Enjoy those younger years while you can. My shit went by like a blur. Ingle was training other fighters, and he wasn't going to leave them just to be with Kell Brook. The interview is on YouTube. Okay, that's good shit. I think I've seen a portion of that before. I think, but I'm gonna look it up and look at it. Should be interesting. But I look at it like this: if Ingle was training other fighters, that's the same thing we see going on with Derrick James. You know, we see Derrick James training with freaking Ryan Garcia. He got AJ in there. He has Frank Martin, Errol. You know, he has all these fighters. You know what I'm saying? I think Jermell Charlo's up there training with Juan Guzman. I believe that's his name. He's up there training with Guzman. You know, like Jermell Charlo is probably locked in like a nigga going to boot camp. You know what I'm saying? He said, oh, man, this is my opportunity to go in there and shock. You know, not so much shock the world, but at least he's going to have some type of tremor to the boxing community if he goes in there and beat Canelo. For real. Look, just think about it. Just think about it. Just think about how many times Canelo has moved up to a weight class and won, right? But now, just like, look, WCS put it out there. I say, when are these black fighters going to step up and put themselves in a position to be something special? Like, instead of chasing Canelo, well, chasing Canelo is finally paid off for Jermell Charlo because his brother pulled out and he gets the opportunity. He finally gets the shot because two Charlos and a Spence was calling out freaking Canelo. Now you get the opportunity. You got to make the best of it, brother. Don't go in there and fumble. Don't go fumble, dog. This is your opportunity to go in there and make the best of it. Moving up 2 weight classes. If Jermell Charlo get this done, it totally changes everything, bro. It's the same thing I was telling you about him at 154 becoming undisputed twice if he fought Errol Spence. If him and Errol Spence was able to trade wins. Errol Spence take the belts and hands Mel Charlo his second loss. And then in the rematch, Mel Charlo wins the belts back. You know what I'm saying? They can make some money with that. But if Mel Charlo is able to move up to 168 and get these belts off Canelo, no one would even look at Mel Charlo in the same light as they did right now. Definitely Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Definitely Hall of Famer. And then he would be the second, he would be the second boxer to become 2-time undisputed. But I don't see him beating Canelo, period. I'm not wavering on that. I don't see him beating Canelo. And, it's just no way. Me, nor Stevie Wonder, nor Ray Charles together can see him beating Canelo, period. D-Ray Promotions on deck. Salute to you. Yeah, the fighter signs the check. But, some portion of that money, them trainers be there with that palm to the sky. Excuse me, did you? Yeah. I was checking my account. I haven't seen anything in there yet. Okay. You headed there now? All right. They headed to the bank, boy. They trying to make sure they get theirs off the top. I think it's on Boxing King's media channel. Okay. Off the top of my head, he does a lot of in-depth interviews with Dominique Engel. Okay. Boxing King media channel. I'll check that out for sure. But people, that's all I got. I've been on like two hours plus. I want to once again give a big shout out to OP for the $50 super chat, and also Big Bunsen Boxing with the $2 super chat, man. Appreciate y'all brothers for supporting the channel and everyone else that pulled up, you know what I'm saying, and participated off the topic. One love to everybody. Continue to support, so sub to the channel, and I'm out.